What's happening? L.A.R movement still moving. This blog is for all the single mothers of black boys. Um, I saw the thing with the teachers in Georgia or whatever, and something not that bad, not even on that level of bad. Something happened to a family member of mine, and they called me about the way that the school is treating their son. So I, people always talk about what people should do, so I'm just lay out the game or whatever if y'all don't know. Because sometimes as a woman you was a little girl in school. You wasn't a little boy in school, so you don't get that. You black, but you didn't get being a black boy in school. So some things y'all, at least somebody, I'm just putting it out there to tell you. Um, ADD. ADD is not a learning disability. I know y'all know that. I got ADHD, whatever. It's not that bad. Like you don't have to put kids on medication. You just change their diet. If you change their diet, it's called a fine gold diet. You change the diet where they don't eat as much foods that process into sugars, so they're less hyper. They do a lot less. Um, but at school, it's just an excuse to put them in a special ed class or treat them like they slow or stupid. The reason they do that, because to be perfectly honest, it grooms them for jail. You might not believe that, but it do. Um, when it comes to treatment, like girls gonna always get treated better in school than boys. Let's just don't get it twisted. You know, I this hat I got on my head I could never wear in school, but a girl could wear this hat every day of the year. Your son, if he gets a C in class, he got a C. If your daughter gets a C in class, she might cry and get it bumped up to a B. So, and sometimes even in the reverse, your son can get a B, and they just because he's your son, he's a boy and he's black, gonna dumb him down, give him a C. Look for something, that happens. When you got a black son, you got to understand that they say racism is taught in the home. Like I did a blog, I don't believe in racism, but I believe in superiority complexes. People use that stuff to make themselves feel better. But what happens is you got people with them complexes, and they want these boys to be dumb. Like when I was a kid, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I knew about. I've always liked history, even as a kid. I've always liked, not useless information, but useful information. I got put in detention because they was like Christopher Columbus discovered America, and I was like, no, Amerigo Vespucci actually discovered America, but really he didn't discover America because people was always already here. Well, I shouldn't have said that because I got thrown in detention because they didn't. It was right, but it wasn't part of the assimilation process, and I wasn't supposed to be the one doing that smart or supposedly, that smart at the time. Everybody had to be at a certain level of smart, but not too smart, dumb, but not too dumb. That's what they do to us. So the other thing is, you got to understand that, and this goes both ways, but school tries to teach your sons to be that they're inferior. Why do you think if you're in a black neighborhood and they got some kids, there's some white kids there, when they start learning about slavery and all that other stuff, they start whooping the shit out of them kids. Because they always teach the black kids, you were slaves. You were slaves. Then Martin Luther King. You were slaves, but then Martin Luther King. You were slaves, but Martin Luther King. But if it wasn't for Abraham Lincoln, you were slaves. You get what I'm saying? You learn everybody else's history, and then you become. It gives people a complex. Sometimes people work into their favor because they're like, okay, you got to be twice as good, or you got to be a little bit better than, if you're an average black guy, you got to be better than the average white guy in most everything. And you're not going to get a fair shake, but whatever. The other thing is, you got to understand that the schools, if you notice, they're banking on the fact that you're not gonna parent. You know, they tell you come to the PTA meetings, come look out for your kids. You know, come to these things, and this is where it gets messed up. Most black boys get in trouble at school, and your parents show up. But everything that they do positive, it goes unnoticed because think about it. A lot of times the teacher's not going to tell you how smart your child is because they don't really talk to you. You don't even go to the PTA meetings. You know, they can bring home their grades, but you know, as you get a certain age, people think looking dumb is cool. But I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of times, kids just play looking dumb because it's cool and because cool get the girls. And on the other end of that, it's because when you smart, you treat it worse. Like if you a smart kid, you treat it worse than a low life kid. Like the book, like it's the smart kid, then the bully, then the cool kid. You get what I'm saying? So you got to teach them ways you got to encourage, that and self defense because it happens, man. It happens. Ultimately, I'm saying these things because whether you know it or not, school is to give your child an education, but when it comes to being black boys, it's an education and they're trying to prepare you for jail. Hoping. Like I went to school, dude. In the summertime they turn the heat on, in the wintertime they turn the AC on. You know, metal detectors, dog sweeps, um, cops coming here and there and all that stuff, and zero tolerance policies. But at the same token, and it was majority black school, and I played a lot of sports, so I could go be with other people, and these kids in the suburbs, they can do all kinds of outlandish shit. It's just called being young and stupid, you know. So, and even when it comes to court, I know a lot of gangsters. They repeat offenders. Some of them still offending to this day, but because they knew that they were just low lives who wasn't gonna be nothing and fuck up the community, they didn't lock them up really. Like the kids that just wasn't really that bad and made a mistake, they got the book thrown at them. That's how you got all these boys in jail sometimes. Cause think about it, you might see the same little crack dealers, dope boys around the neighborhood, and they always getting caught, and they always getting off. But there's one kid that might have done something stupid or got in a fight with somebody or got mistaken for somebody or something happened. They're not really a bad kid. They just got in a bad situation. They be gone for a minute. Um, the other thing, it's no good way to say this. I've noticed that sometimes the teachers themselves take extra hostility out on the black boys because they know nobody's gonna say anything. So if you got a kid that's a decent kid and they get in trouble, watch 'em. You know, and what I mean by watching them is know what is in their character and what's not in their character. Because sometimes people toy with people. Like I remember once, I had a track coach. Well, I ain't even gonna go. I'm gonna tell you that one afterwards. I had an English teacher. He would say, "Look, there's no eating in my class." Okay, girls are eating this class, no problem. Chubby cats are eating this class, no problem. So I'm like, okay, you just lying. He'll eat in the class because that's when people started eating. Because he'd tell you don't eat, but he'll start eating. Cat like me come with a bag of M&Ms and some Skittles, he ready to throw me out. Didn't even open them. You know what I'm saying? Then it becomes he's got a problem. He doesn't listen to things. Okay. Same teacher. Friend of my grandmother died. I left the school. I came back. And sure enough, fucking with me. Didn't know why I left, but fucking with me. Then I said, look, this is the situation. I wasn't here because my grandmother passed. I went to a funeral. Could you leave me alone today? But see, I had to get thrown out of the class first for him to understand I didn't feel like being bothered. I had other teachers who did, man. I remember I had a gym class. They used to make me do 500 push-ups a day because I wore black socks. And they just didn't like black socks. Just something about black socks. Wasn't against the uniform, just I was the only one wearing black socks. So 500 push-ups every day. Because until you stop wearing those socks. I'm like, I bought a six-pack. Yeah, I'm gonna wear these motherfuckers every day. Had another teacher who was a chemistry teacher. Damn, this blog going on. Okay, anyway, had another teacher who was a chemistry teacher. She was a little racist heifer, too. I mean, real prejudiced motherfucker. I got a C in this class in chemistry. This is in high school. But I got put in physics honors. You got to get it like a B plus or A to go from chemistry to physics honors. Think about that. The teacher would say I didn't pay attention. I was doing bad on my tests. I didn't turn in my homework, and I got upset one day, and I said, "Fuck it." So she said, your homework's not in. You don't even have a test. Now think about what I just said. I didn't even have a test when I took a test with everybody else. So what I did was I got up, I walked to the left to the corner, and they had a desk with the shelves. I cracked open the shelf, took out all of my homework for the semester because that's where she would put the black boys' homework. Slapped the shit on her desk and said, "Those are my grades." But see, because she was so superior that she didn't think anybody watched her when we left the class. You get what I'm saying? Bell rings, you walk out the door. The door still got a glass window in it. I know where you go. But stuff like that happens. You know, your kids sometimes get in trouble because, for the most part, nobody's going to defend them. Like, my mother would come to school and defend the teacher. And I remember one particular time with this same chemistry teacher, my mother came in there. She actually came to a PTA meeting, drugged me down there because she felt like I was getting in trouble all the time. This chemistry teacher talking mad shit. He's like this, and he's disruptful, and he's mean, he's a bully. I ain't no bully because I ain't that big. But what happened, a friend of mine that I had class with, him and his sister, and another friend of mine, mother happened to be there at the same time. So while my mother's just getting on my ass about believing what this teacher's saying, it took them to tell their parents that this is what's really going on in class, and them to tell my mother, for my mother to say, "Oh, for real? I'm sorry." But I was never a liar in the first place. I wasn't that kind of kid. So sometimes you gotta, know what's going on. Because a lot of times, you don't know what's going on because you taking people's sides, not understanding. These people probably ain't got your child's best interest at all. Like, if you believe a teacher who's never called your house, and if your child don't have a history of getting in trouble before they get whatever, they didn't get in trouble in 5th grade, and they didn't get in 6th grade, they didn't get in trouble in 7th grade every now and then, you know what I'm saying? But every day, every other day, when they get to a certain point, come on. And for the sisters out there, this is what I know it's long. I'm sorry. Maybe I should put bullet points. But realize the society changes. Like, you know, when you're hanging out with your son, they're a cool, cute kid. But at a certain point, when they grow a certain height and weight, they go from being a kid that we can't really unleash on to basically getting treated like, this nigga's gonna steal. This nigga's gonna burn the house down. This nigga's gonna shoot everybody. This nigga's a crack dealer. I said in an earlier blog, I was 12 years old when the cop first pulled a gun on me, and I was sleeping in the car, in the passenger side, taking a ride with my uncle to a football game. So realize this does affect cats' behavior, you know? You can't deal with these crazy people doing this crazy shit all the time. Sometimes you might fly off the handle because you're a teenager and you don't know. You like it don't make sense to you, so you just go off. You're emotional, but that don't excuse stuff. But just pay attention to stuff like that. Pay attention to the fact that when I say ADD and stuff prepares kids for jail, I'm gonna tell you why. You go in, they label you ADD. They say you got a behavioral problem. They put you with the special ed kids, and then you grow up as a little slow, a little slow. You ain't got to really do too much. Then, since you hyper or running around, got short attention or whatever, they gonna throw your ass in sports because you having a behavioral problem means you got a little hot temper, and that temper might be useful on a football field or a basketball court, and that nervous energy might bring some ticket sales. That's how these kids slide through school. And if they stupid for real, they don't go nowhere, and they be back in the neighborhood. Then what happens? So I'm gonna leave it right there. Peace.